Hello friends, and welcome to my 2026 Classics TBR. This is going to be 12 classics that I want to read in 2026, and I want to make an effort to do a better job with these books and this list than I did in 2025. 2025 was just not the best goal year, to be honest, but I've got books I want to read. I want to make sure to prioritize them. Like my other TBR videos I've been sharing this month, each of these books will be placed on a TBR card and they will be added to my stack of TBR cards, which is already large and is going to be really big come January. I'm probably not going to get to more than one classic each month, which might make it difficult because I do have 12 classics here. But whatever, we'll get into it. I have a variety of lengths here. 3 of them I think are rereads, and we'll just start with the biggest chunker. In January, I will be doing what I've been doing for the last few years, and that's reading a Dickens. I will be reading The Old Curiosity Shop. So this will be my 3rd year starting a Dickens in January, and I usually read a chapter a day. His chapters are so short. I'm just making sure that this book is like kind of the same. His chapters are between 3 to 10 pages long because he usually serialized his works, so they went into papers and they have to be like a certain length. And I do that until it's done. And then I don't allow myself to read any other fiction that day until I've read my chapter. I'm just going to see if it says how many chapters there are. It does not. There's 73 chapters. So technically that would take me longer than January and February, but I generally try to finish it by the end of February. So some days I might read 2 chapters. I do not even know what this one's about. I have been going through his books in publication order if I haven't already read them and if I own them. So that means I'm on to The Old Curiosity Shop next. Dickens's Little Nell became one of his best-known heroines when The Old Curiosity Shop was first published in 1841. Virtuous and stoic, young Nell takes care of her grandfather in his gloomy shop until his gambling debts force the pair of them to flee to London. They are hunted by the grotesque and villainous moneylender Quilp and Nell's own worthless brother Fred, who wrongly believes that their grandfather has a hidden fortune. Through a kaleidoscope round of people and events, Nell and her grandfather eventually reach a safe refuge, although neither of them is destined to enjoy it for long. This sounds pretty much just like every other Dickens book. I think he's got a thing and he sticks to it. And this one also has the illustrations from Fizz, which most of the Dickens books I own, they're in different editions and they have the original illustrations, which is fun. And that also means like that's a whole page where there's not words on the page. I have yet to come to love Dickens as a writer. I do enjoy some of his books, but for the most part, I just find them kind of overwhelming. I might also listen to this as I go as well, do a little bit of physical reading and audio. 2025 was the first year that I did 2 Dickens, the second one just for fun. So maybe I am starting to love Dickens without even realizing it. I have read a very short abridged story version of this story to my kids, so I know the general idea of The Old Curiosity Shop, but I will read the much wordier Dickens version. Okay, in the smaller vein, I have yet to get to My Antonia by Willa Cather. It's a short little book. I mean, this edition makes it look really tiny, but the font is also minuscule, but it's not that long. I had hoped to get to this like a year ago, in this last year. It's set in rural Nebraska. Antonia and her family are from Bohemia, and they must endure real hardship and loss to establish a new home in America. But Antonia is never broken by adversity, and her strength and love of life stays with her childhood friend Jim for years to come, even as he leaves home to study and pursue his career. Told through Jim's eyes, My Antonia is a rich and beautiful novel about childhood and growing up, different cultures, and the lure of home. I've never read anything by her before, and I do own this book plus another one of hers, so it would be nice to read one, and I just picked this one. Actually, I used ChatGPT because this one was fine, but there's a couple other books that I've got on this stack here where I own multiple books by that author, and I didn't know where to start. And unfortunately, you guys have been zero help because I ask, like, where should I start with this author? And everyone tells me a different answer. So I decided just to pull up ChatGPT and to tell it to tell me where I should start, and then just take its recommendation, because then I don't have to play favorites. And if it's wrong, it's just AI, so it doesn't really matter. So it told me to start with this one for her. Then I want to read Cousin Phyllis by Elizabeth Gaskell. This bind-up has Cranford, which I read this year. And then Cousin Phyllis, I don't know how long Cousin Phyllis is. Oh, it's a short one. It's less than half of the book. Do I know anything about it? It's concerned with phases of society, the old values as against the new, presented as a remembered episode, a fleeting, unfulfilled love affair. It represents Mrs. Gaskell's most mature work as an imaginative writer. Okay, so I don't know. I am like all over the place with her books. But speaking of her, I really want to reread North and South this year. This was on my reread list for 2025 and I didn't get to it. And so I'm putting it back on here because I really want to get to it. When I read it originally, I own it in this edition, like the small edition, and then I found this one at the thrift store, and I would really like to read it in here, annotate it. I loved this book when I read it a couple of years ago, so this is going to be my second Elizabeth Gaskell for the year, and I need to make sure I actually get to it this year. In my, November book haul, I shared a couple Gothic literature books because my 15-year-old is taking a Gothic literature class starting in January, and I bought some of the books that she has to read that I have not already read, and I want to read them. So the first one I'm going to try to read them when she has to read them as well, but I'm going to give myself some wiggle room. I definitely want to read The Phantom of the Opera. So I think her class goes January, February, March. So in one of those months, whenever she needs to be reading it, I want to read this. And my edition is a little bit deceiving because it has very thick pages. Like, they are thick. And they also have very wide margins. So her copy looks much quicker and easier to read, but mine is prettier. I spent more money on mine because it was my money. So yeah, I don't actually know anything about it. The disadvantage is that there's no synopsis in here, but the edition is pretty, so I'll just go with that. And it's supposed to be like Gothic literature, so fun. This one is actually a short story collection. I think my only one of them all. Edgar Allan Poe. These are classic works of horror. My daughter has to read, I think, 3 or 4 short stories from here. I have read some of his because I do have a collection of his already, but it only has 4 to 5 of his stories, so I'd like to read the rest of them. This also has some of his poems, including Annabel Lee, which I really enjoy. So I'm going to be reading this. I will probably read the short stories when she needs to read them, like the 4 or however many it is, and then read the rest of the book kind of throughout the year. That's my guess right now. Another book that I wanted to reread in 2025 but didn't get to is Frankenstein. And now this is one of the Gothic books that my daughter needs to read. So I was like, okay, I will read it with her then. I will stop putting it off because I wanted to read it in 2024, but I didn't get to it in October. So then I was like, okay, 2025, and I didn't get to it, and I just gotta stop putting it off. The last time I read this was back in university, which would have been like not quite 20 years ago, a little less. The year that I took it, I was 21, so 18 years ago. It's been a while. I almost forgot to put this book on here, and then I was like, no, can't forget it. I need to read this book. This one's a bind-up of 2. I really want to get to Freckles by Jean Stratton Porter. And if I can get to that one, I would also love to get to the second one, which is A Girl of the Limberlost. I put this on my daughter's school list for this school year, so I don't know if she'll read it. She probably won't get to it in 2025, but she'll read it some point in 2026, and I would like to read it before her if I can. She's got so much more time than I do, so I might not get to it before her, but I'd really like to get to it in 2026. Do I know much? No, I pretty much know nothing. I think Freckles is a boy, and it's a young man hired to guard a section of Indiana timberland. In these works, Stratton Porter explores themes such as the power of nature, the importance of perseverance, and the transformative power of love. A Girl of the Limberlost is a novel about a young girl named Elnora who lives near the Limberlost swamp in Indiana. Okay, yeah, I just know they're like nature-y, and that sounds good. So, would like to read those, at least one of them. My last reread is Sunshine Sketches of a Little Town, I think it's called. Sunshine Sketches of a Little Town. I also had to read this in university. It is a small town story. There's these like vignettes of things that happened in the town, and true to small town form, things severely blow out of proportion. It was one of the few books that I actually enjoyed in my university English class that I was taking this one summer. It was my brain was also just like not there. It was a 6-week course. We had to read 12 novels, some of which were very thick. I was working full time. I was also doing starting a photography business on the side. So my weekends were full of that. I did some homework in the morning, went to my class till noon, drove an hour to where I worked. I worked from 1 until 8 or 9. Then I drove home, like the half an hour home. And then I did a little bit of school and crashed. And then on weekends I was doing photography stuff. It was a very busy season of life. And some of the books we had to read for that class were so terrible, but I enjoyed this one. And I actually saw this book in my library on the sale cart. I almost picked it up the other day. I might actually pick it up because it was a bigger version with pictures, and I really like this vintage looking edition, but the pages feel very brittle and I would feel a little hesitant to read it from here. So if it's still there, I think I'm gonna grab it the next time I go. Okay, I think 3 left if my numbers are right. I would really like to get to Lorna Doone. I've heard excellent things about this book, but don't really know anything. It's a historical novel of high adventure set in the southwest of England during the turbulent time of Monmouth's rebellion in 1685. It's also a moving love story told through the life of the young farmer John Ridd as he grows to manhood, determined to right the wrongs in his land and to win the heart and hand of the beautiful Lorna Doone. Yeah, I also own this in like a even more vintage edition than this, but those pages are very brittle, so I'm gonna read it out of this edition. I've probably flipped through this before and probably had the same reaction, but the font is so minuscule in here. Okay, I might need to even find a different edition. Like this is something else. Wow. Okay, going to look for another edition with a better sized font for that. Now these last two, these are two that I went on to ChatGPT and I was like, tell me where to start, because, well, the first one's not too bad. I'm going to be reading Anthony Trollope. I am actually going to read an Anthony Trollope. Penny has been recommending him for so long, and I keep putting him on TBRs, and I keep not reading them, and I'm done with that. Okay, I don't like to be that person that says I'm going to do something and then not do it. I don't want to do that. So I'm going to be reading The Warden. This is where AI told me to start, okay? And this is the start of a series, and I've read the back of this multiple times. It makes no sense to me. But you know, this is a pretty short classic. Oh, the font is pretty small in here too, okay. But it's 200 pages, and that's like including the notes. So it's not that long. I can read it, I can do it. But Thomas Hardy, you guys, I have asked you guys where to start. And I think I've gotten every book that he has written as a place to start. and I just didn't know who to trust, what to do. So I went to artificial intelligence and was like, you know, if it's wrong, I can't blame anybody. So we're gonna do Far from the Madding Crowd. If AI is wrong, let me know. But still, this is just the one I'm gonna do. It just is what it is. I hear that his books are kind of depressing. So I'm going into it knowing it's not gonna be super happy fun times. Well, this one is into the sleepy village of Weatherbury arrives one day Bathsheba Everdeen, come to take charge of her late uncle's thriving farm. Strong-willed and beautiful, her presence ensures that life in the area will never be the same again. She attracts 3 suitors, each of whom is very different. Faithful shepherd Gabrielle Oak, dour gentleman farmer William Boldwood, and dashing seducer Sergeant Francis Frank Troy. Impulsive and independent, Bathsheba's wavering passions commit her to none, and yet to all of them, with some disastrous consequences. Okay, so this was the first of his Wessex novels and remains one of his most well-known and popular. Yeah, not sure if this is like actually the best place to start, but it's where I'm going to start. And it's got like 350 pages in this edition, which isn't too bad. And that's the last of my classics TBR. Doesn't necessarily mean these are the only classics I'm going to read, but hopefully I can prioritize these and get to all of them this year. Let me know if you guys are reading certain classics. Are you excited about some of these for me to read? Excited that I'm gonna finally read Trollope and Hardy? Like, I just can't let the end of the year happen without doing that. I gotta actually follow through with what I'm saying, okay? Yeah, you may notice I didn't put any massive classics on here. Les Mis, The Hunchback, Three Musketeers, those are some that I've been avoiding. I think that 2027 is going to be the year of the massive classics, but we'll see. We'll see if I can follow through with what I would like to do for 2026 first. Yeah, so let me know all about the classics you love, going to be reading, etc. I will be back again tomorrow. It's funny when I'm filming these, I'm like, you guys must be so sick of me. I hope not. You're watching it, so hopefully not. But I'll be back again tomorrow with another video.